Like, first it was Robbie Starbuck versus Megan Fox, and now it is Elijah Schaffer versus Halle Bailey and her baby daddy, DDG. If you're unaware, Elijah Schaffer is a right-wing podcaster. You might know the show Slightly Offensive. And he ruffled a lot of feathers over the weekend because he tweeted a picture of Halle Bailey on a red carpet for Black Panther back in 2018. And in that photo, her eyes looked particularly far apart, which is a facial feature she has. It's no secret. And he captioned it, "When exactly did Hollywood become flooded with ugly people?"
Before we go, there's a $20 here from Bucky Ducky. Says,
okay.
I'll tell on him, Mary. He brought in those psychics while you were gone and had them speak to the dead. We were going to be sad to see you quit, but it was a good one. Have fun, whatever you move on to.
All right,
Like,
it's over. I'm out.
I'm out of here. Look,
you were like talking to podcasters from the dead.
I wonder if it's like so Mary says I can't have him on here. Can I go on their podcast? Is that
if you want?
And then,
if that's what you really want,
does
Brett.
the energy get brought back here afterwards? Do I have to go through some process to come back here after the fact?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
When we get to it. All right.
Yeah. So Elijah Schaffer posted that, essentially implying that Halle Bailey is an example of one of the most ugly actresses that is currently being propped up in Hollywood. And personally, I disagree. I think that she's really cute. And I like that she has a unique face. There are a lot of actresses right now, especially on the younger side, who have this feature that their eyes are kind of far apart, like Anya Taylor-Joy.
She's got
Rachel Zegler also has been made fun of for it.
She has a very, very cute smile. Okay.
Do you have it pulled up right here?
There's this picture of her with Halle Berry, oddly enough.
Oh, really? Yeah. I think she's a very cute girl.
And also, we keep talking here about how everybody's starting to look the same.
I mean, it obviously her playing the Little Mermaid, being a race-swapped character who once
its own thing.
was white and redheaded, that's a whole separate conversation. But it definitely could have been worse because this girl, she is cute, she is charming in interviews, and she is talented at singing, like very much so. She has a great voice. And I disagree. Like, I think you could have pulled up a lot better examples. But this whole thing exploded because people were viciously defending Halle Bailey in response to this. And I'm sure that she's somewhere taking care of her baby and has no idea that any of this discourse happened, or at least I hope so. So here are some of the headlines. DDG, by the way, this is her baby daddy, her boyfriend, DDG, smokes the pack of racist podcasters' dead mother after he attacked Halle Bailey's looks. And also Elijah Schaffer compared Halle Bailey to E.T. DDG drags Elijah Schaffer's deceased mother for offensive comments about Halle Bailey. DDG stands up for girlfriend Halle Bailey after right-wing podcaster compares her looks to E.T. So they did, in fact, bring Elijah Schaffer's mother into the conversation, and God rest her soul. But yeah, they were posting pictures of Elijah Schaffer's late mother and insulting her appearance in response to him insulting Halle Bailey's appearance. I'm not saying that any of it is justified, but to be fair, Elijah Schaffer was the one who started the conversation. He's the one who riled people up. Yep. He has since deleted his tweets, at least as far as I can tell. He's the one who brought looks into it. You know, this is the internet. People are going to be savage. They're going to get personal with their digs when you piss them off. Especially DDG, who's talking about, like, this is the mother of my child.
Also, it's fair to point out that Twitter turns people into somebody different than they are in the real world. It really does.
It does. It's like road rage.
Yes, it is.
It's the impersonal nature of it.
People will go after you in a way they wouldn't be willing to do in other ways.
Yeah, so they posted this picture of his mother and called her ugly. And Elijah responded saying, "My mother's face was permanently disfigured from a rare form of cancer. She had 60% of her soft tissue removed and huge portions of her jaw carved out in life-saving surgeries. You're making fun of a dead mother of 4 who had life-saving facial reconstruction. Hope you feel cool." And then he got a response saying, "This is what a lot of you cowards do. Disrespect women, then play victim when your women get disrespected back. Stop it with the white fragility. Nobody knew your mom had passed. I hope she wasn't alive when you caught that SA charge." Okay, I have no idea what that's referring to. But Elijah said, "Making an untrue and defamatory legal statement online about me will be met with legal action. I've reported you to X because your accusation is illegal, and if they don't take action, you will be served. Found your residence easily and already submitted it to my legal team." And that's, I assume, the point at which Elijah deleted his original tweets.
There's a $20 one here from Gordon Shumway. Says, Joy Division is not pop music. Technically, it's considered post-punk. But if you actually listen to all of their stuff, they sound like a primitive version of goth. The bass is primary melody, and it's a higher pitch. Did we call it pop music?
Yeah, I don't think that we referred to Joy Division.
Like, we were just referencing the meme that was the song. That was the Love Will Tear Us Apart.
Yeah.
Maybe I did.
I don't know.
I don't think I did.
Yeah. And then DDG responded with another picture of Elijah Schaffer's mother and called her the B word and said should have gotten a better doctor, and then posted a picture of himself smoking a blunt with his mother's face photoshopped on it. It's just, it's pretty low.
It's the internet.
It's pretty low behavior, definitely. And then another one said, "Why do you all come at black women and then expect people not to fight back? This is hypocritical."
Yeah.
And another one said, "Hollywood was always flooded with ugly people," meaning it's not a new trend. But I did want to get into that discussion on broader terms, because this is often brought up, especially with Zendaya's casting in Dune 2. Is the new crop of actresses and actors in their 20s and 30s objectively worse looking than their predecessors? And is this a concerted effort from the top to change our preferences, or a Marxist upending of objective beauty standards as a whole?
Yeah. You first.
Me first? Well, it's interesting they brought up these other examples. They posted Bradley Cooper, who is not unattractive.
I don't, like, if you're gonna dunk on Bradley Cooper, do it because he talked about being naked in the shower with his dad.
They posted Elizabeth Olsen, who I also think is attractive.
Again, the Olsen, like, I disagree.
And then they posted Daniel Radcliffe.
He got famous because he looked like a book character and then held on to his fame a little
Then
bit.
he went through puberty, and then he was still a star. And then they posted Robert Pattinson. And I was like, okay, chill. Like, Robert Pattinson is obviously attractive.
Look at the 80s movie stars. Did you look at Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and think, wow, super? I guess they're comedy actors, so maybe they don't hold up to the same level of scrutiny, I guess. It's a different thing.
They even posted more examples of Maggie Gyllenhaal. She's unique looking, but I would say she still has a charm.
She's also from a famous family.
And she's a Nepo baby, obviously. Then they posted Jennifer Aniston.
She's
like, what are you talking about?
She's revered for, like, she's literally looked at as one of these women who's held on to her beauty into her 50s, right?
It's crazy.
Okay, you said a very interesting word there. Interesting looking. That matters to a lot of people. Like, it's not always about objective beauty to a lot of casting directors. There are certain actors that they're going to, like, there's a reason, like, you can say that Cillian Murphy is really, really handsome, sure, but more than anything, he has an interesting look.
More than anything, he's weird looking.
He's got an interesting look that plays well. And there is more to casting a role than just casting the best looking person. Now, is there an objective decision from these industries to move away from the traditionally handsome lead? I mean, you could look at someone like Tom Holland, right? Who is like, so I remember when we went to see Uncharted, I'm like, is this what passes for like an action star now? A dude who's like my height. Like, I don't want an action star.
Is he actually?
He's like 5'8". But the point is,
he's slight.
He's slight, but even then, no, like he's
5'8".
He gets like he put on muscle to play Spider-Man, but he's still pretty thin. But Alan Ritchson is a thing right now. Alan Ritchson is very popular right now, and the dude is jacked beyond belief. Now, that's a guy you could say that's different, sure.
I think that there are more objective standards for actors being attractive and also for their physiques than actresses these days.
Yeah.
I think there's more of a concerted
yeah,
effort
because
to cast less than objectively attractive women.
Yeah,
these days.
because the women will complain that like it's you have unrealistic beauty standards, and there is something to be said about the idea of saying like, oh, you can't cast Sydney Sweeney in this because she's going to set unrealistic beauty standards, or when they would bring up the photoshopping discussion with social media and stuff, right, where they would talk about stop photoshopping women on magazine covers because it's setting unrealistic beauty standards. Where are her organs, for goodness sake? The problem is you can go on any Instagram channel and yeah, there's some face tuning going on, but the look for objective beauty can still be found all over. The problem is those women that seem to find that for themselves don't have the victim complex that a lot of these Hollywood women have because they have to work for their physiques.
Well, there are two obvious problems with the unrealistic beauty standards complaint, which is, first of all, when have beauty standards been realistic in all of human history?
And why should they be?
When have they been realistic? I mean, Marie Antoinette, is that a realistic beauty standard? It wasn't even a realistic beauty standard for her. And then secondly, oh, I forgot where I was going with that.
I hate that.
Whatever.
That happens all the time.
But yeah, it's like there shouldn't be realistic beauty standards because beauty is, supposed to be a cut above the rest. It's supposed to be exceptional. It's supposed to be something that you remember. I mean, that's how it was before the internet, is you would see a couple of dimes in your lifetime and you would remember it forever. Or you would see it in art.
Here's an interesting discussion then. Okay, so you could go down two avenues. You could go down the Dune casting route and you can cast Zendaya, who doesn't look like the most knockout 10 out of 10 supermodel, and say, look, she looks beautiful on a red carpet, but in this movie, she looks like somebody who's lived a life in a war-torn desert. Right? Or you can cast like a supermodel to do that role, and it will take you out of it, but you've met your unrealistic beauty standards and you're showing the height of beauty. So which one's right? Now, I would argue that in the hands of the right director who actually takes his story seriously and wants to create some type of narrative that's actually true to the source material or is actually focused on what the story means, then you can go wherever you want with the casting. But if you're casting teenage slasher flicks, perhaps the idea is that because that is the way that art is done, that I don't want to look at mid-looking teenage, college kids getting cut up. Does that make sense? Like, I just saw a picture posted the other day of like the initial casts of both Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer. And it's all, even back then, you could make the argument that Matthew Lillard wasn't the traditionally handsome, Skeet Ulrich looks like what you would see as the traditionally handsome Hollywood man. Skeet Ulrich has what you would call an interesting face. Jamie Kennedy, same thing. For the women, though, Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, Rose McGowan, traditionally beautiful women. You look at I Know What You Did Last Summer.
So it got flipped?
Yeah, like you look at I Know What You Did Last Summer, different. Okay, Ryan Phillippe, Freddie Prinze Jr., Sarah Michelle Gellar, and Jennifer Love Hewitt. All four traditionally beautiful people. And I would argue for those types of movies, that makes perfect sense. But if you're going to cast a television show or a movie that's high concept and wants to be loyal to a certain type of idea or style, then there's leeway there. The problem is people don't want to apply those rules objectively throughout. Does that make sense?
Apply those rules.
They want to apply them. They don't want to apply them objectively. They want to use a blanket statement for all of it. They should all be objectively beautiful, or they should all be loyal to source material, or as if they look like real people. Like when I watch movies and television shows, I used to make jokes. Like there were characters on Covert Affairs, like there's spies that just look like a dude you'd see at like a Walmart on a Friday. I was like, I like that. I like the idea that there's a dude out there who he flies under the radar for that reason. They made that joke about Ben Affleck when he got cast in Argo. The real person that movie is based on was like a foot shorter than him and very much an average looking dude. Ben Affleck is 6'4" and a Hollywood superstar. So does that follow in line with what he actually looked like? No, but he certainly looks good on screen.
Yeah, I think it's easier to suspend disbelief when it's somebody who is unrealistically attractive, though. Am I wrong?
Say that again.
It's easier to suspend disbelief when the person on screen is unrealistically attractive.
I mean, some people might even say the other. Like if everybody's cast in sort of, so I'll mention another one. One of my favorite castings of all time. Somebody mentioned Denise Richards in Starship Troopers. I would say Denise Richards in The World Is Not Enough, where she plays the world's hottest nuclear physicist. Okay, I don't need a James Bond movie to give me average-looking people. I need a James Bond movie to give me women that are unbelievably beautiful, and James Bond to look like what you imagine a spy would look like in a spy novel.
We've got $20 from an authentic tin can. Said the emotional fragility of the left is on constant display on Twix. Look at this right winger making fun of women. Typical conservative behavior. Herder. Yeah, I think it really sent them over the ledge. Like they were having full meltdowns over that. I mean, it's not like Halle Bailey is going to see the tweet unless you amplify it that much.
I mean, but the thing is this is what happens when you go after a specific person on the internet. It's going to, especially people
and
who
she seems like such a nice person. That's the thing.
I thought, wasn't there that incident at the nail salon where she was like really mean to some lady at a nail salon?
Well. Suddenly I didn't know how to read.
Right, yes. But you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Like when you go after a specific person, especially if you're at a level of fame now where you have Stan accounts dedicated to you, you're going to draw, like talking negatively about that person, you will draw the ire of those people.
I think there's a lot of coping on both sides. I think when there is a celebrity, especially a female, like an actress, who the right specifically dislikes, like, they're like, oh, she's mid.
Like Brie Larson.
Like Brie Larson.
Or
like
Rachel Zegler.
Or Rachel Zegler. These are two objectively attractive women.
Yep.
That's just the truth. Like them being physically attractive doesn't mean you can't criticize them, though.
I still think that I have like an argument against the Brie Larson one. I think what it is most, for a lot of people, all they ever saw were the thumbnails where she's like making a face or the only exposure you have to her is when she's making a speech that's where she's saying something particularly grating. I don't need to know what a white man thinks about a wrinkle in time. It wasn't made for him. Somebody's gonna look ugly to you if they're saying something that obnoxious.
They're being ugly.
They're being an ugly person, therefore it shines through. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.